Like this is almost a broken record type question, but do you come into every game thinking you're going to set a career high in receiving yards?
No, to be honest, I just go out there, just try to execute the game plan. Just try to be best as I can. That's really the biggest thing for me. I just really try to go out there and really not worry about who's in front of me. Just try to play my game and just be as dominant as possible. That's my goal, and that's been my goal for the entire year.
Trey, we've all seen what this offense has done these 4 games, and regardless of the opponent, but just on this offense. Do you feel like there's still more that this offense hasn't even tapped into yet?
Oh, most definitely. We came out pretty hot, but I do feel like we had a sloppy game overall. We had a sloppy game in between those two, the second and third quarters. I feel like we had some sloppy plays, and we shot ourselves in the foot a couple times. So, we got to clean up a couple things. I had a couple drop passes that I'm still a little frustrated with right now. So, things like that, you got to pay attention to details that we missed up on. And that's just from my perspective, looking at the receiver room. So, for the rest of the team, I feel like there's more for us to do, and I feel like we definitely going to reach that next week.
I didn't really see the replay, but you got called for a PI. Do you feel like that was the right call there by the officials?
I never think it'll be the right call, to be honest, but it is what it is. So.
Trey, it's become a tradition for the wide receivers room and coaches to gather for group prayer before games. Who spearheaded that, and how much does that mean to you?
I'm not really sure who started it, but I'll say last year we started it. We didn't do it on the field, but before the game, before we go out for the first snap and things like that, we come out onto the turf and we just get around, get a circle, and we start a prayer. I'd have to give the credit to Josh Acker and Drew Burnett. Those 2 guys, they constantly remind me of my faith, and they do so much more. Even if they're not much on the field, they do so much more into pouring into the entire room, and constantly seeing how guys are feeling outside of football, and constantly restoring our faith in God. So shout out to them, man. They do a great job.
And do you think that has a direct translation to y'all's success on the field?
Almost definitely. One thing that they always preach is, always give everything to God, no matter what it is. No obstacle is too big for him. And, that's one of the biggest things I talk to myself about whenever I go out there on the field. I tell myself that I'm thankful for this moment. I'm thankful for all the opportunities. I'm thankful for the plan that he's laid out for me. So, just really having that faith in him, really just relying on him to really just be the best that you can possibly be is amazing.
When asked about breaking the attendance record tonight, Lane Kiffin kind of equated it to a concert that people want to come out. If you put on a good show, people are going to want to come out. What kind of show do you guys put on?
We're trying to be a violent team, first and foremost, an explosive team, a fun team. Those are things that our coaches constantly, reinforce in the room, and they constantly tell us that, y'all here, all the fans are here for y'all. They come out there to watch y'all put on the show, and that's something we try and go out and do every single Saturday. And all I can do is really say I'm appreciative of all the fans and all the support that we get, and just hope we get it again for next Saturday.
If you look at the first 4 games of the season, non-conference schedule, you've passed it, I would say, with flying colors. I think that's a pretty fair statement as a team as a whole. Now it moves into more serious SEC play. What are your thoughts on kind of going into that and how the team is looking heading into that?
For us, we just really looking at another game. We understand that we are playing a better opponent than the past 4 games, but for us, we're just going to go on out there and play our game. The biggest thing that we always preach is that it's not about them, it's about us. It's always about us. It's about what we do. It's about how we approach the games, how about we prepare during the week. And, if we go into the week and we have the correct preparation, that we feel like nobody can beat us.
Jackson had another 4-touchdown day today. I think he has 15 total touchdowns or so this year. Is this the best that you've seen him play over a sustained period of time?
Most definitely. He's super locked in. Every Thursday we go through the script and we go through the openers and things like that. We go through, and he gets all the receivers, and we talk about what his thought process is in between each single play. And we go through each and every single play of what he's thinking, what he's reading, and how he feels in this play and what he's going to be looking at. So for him to have that amount of leadership and that amount of connection with each and every receiver, it's only going to boost his game even more. And y'all see it for yourselves. His game is elevating each and every week. So I'm super proud of him for being a leader, and just ready to continue playing with him.
Thanks, Ray.
Thank y'all.